Now, many civil servants in the federal government started working from home during the pandemic. There has been some resistance to going back to the office. There are pros and cons to each system, but the back to work plan is expected to be fully implemented by March of 2023. Now, the federal government is giving civil servants up until that time to make sure that they do get it all done. We will now be bringing in Treasury Board President Mona Fortier to speak about this. Ms. Fortier, I wanted to ask you, why are we doing this now? Why are you announcing it now, first of all?
Well, first, good afternoon, Mike. Thank you for having me today. And let's go back to June of this year, 6 months ago, when we announced that we were no longer, we were moving from a remote by necessity approach to a hybrid by design approach. And we've been experimenting over the last 6 months on how organizations were invited to bring public servants back to the workplace in different organizations, depending on what kind of services they are offering, and making sure that we would have good approach of serving Canadians. Now, today, we are continuing this model of hybrid by design and giving a common approach to make sure that we include also, as we've been experimenting, making sure that public servants have fairness and equity and being more cohesive now that we've learned in the last 6 months.
But Minister, you understand the timing of this. It's 10 days before Christmas. A number of people may be off as of tomorrow. This is going to be a shock to many of them.
Well, we also made sure that we are implementing this starting January 16th up to March 31st of 2023. We want a smooth transition. I think it's important for public servants to know, and organizations to know, that we're moving from the experimentation we've had for the last 6 months to making sure that we will have more cohesive, common approach, a model, I should say, in the public service. We know the private sector, provincial governments, territorial governments are all going through this adaptation and have brought their approach forward. And we are continuing to make sure we are serving Canadians the best way we can. And the hybrid by design is here to stay.
You had said in your press conference that in-person works better, supports collaboration, team spirit, innovation, and a culture of belonging. What's the data that you have to support that? And I guess what I mean is, did you see any drop in productivity when people were at home?
So thing that we are really focusing on is making sure that we are experimenting how we are moving from a remote by necessity to a hybrid by design. As I said earlier, we're making sure to have fairness and equity across the government. We know that everybody needs to have this same fairness and equity approach. And also, we know that to be more inclusive and permit advancement, that the employees need to work together and need to be in person part of the week, as we said, 2 to 3 days, to make sure we really best serve Canadians, all the programs and services that we have.
So when you talk about that greater fairness and equity across the workplace, how does this model provide that type of fairness?
So again, when I said in September, organizations were mandated and encouraged with the Treasury Board guidelines to, again, develop a hybrid by design approach. And different organizations did different things. And we saw a lack of fairness across the government. That's why we're bringing forward that common approach and making sure that we have a common approach, which is 40 to 60% of the time, or 2 to 3 days a week back in the office.
There have been some workers that were designated as remote only. Do they continue to be exempted?
Again, each organization is going to adapt with the new guidelines, and I won't go through different scenarios. There will be different scenarios, but the management will look into the different scenarios and make sure we adapt and follow the common approach we're proposing.
Just in closing, I wanted to ask you, what do you say to some of the employees that you have in the public service that say that they've been very productive at home and that it actually is a perfect work-life balance at this point, and to force them back into the office, into a hybrid format that will really disrupt that? Are you worried that you could have a mass exodus from the public service as a result of that?
Well, again, the objective is for us to serve Canadians with all the programs and services we have, and we need to be sustainable with the experimentation that we've had. As you know, I mentioned from remote by necessity, we did afterwards start to have a hybrid by design, organization adapted. Now we really want to make sure we have a common approach, this model, and now organizations have the new guidelines that were posted today. And we will continue to look at how we will be serving Canadians, how those programs and services that the federal government brings every day. And we will continue to evaluate and be sure that we are a sustainable government.
Treasury Board President Mona Fortier, thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. We appreciate this.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening.